Hi everybody, how are you all? Weather's not very nice out there. I'm not quite sure what's going on here at the moment. Hopefully we'll get a better week next week. But anyway, I am going to, is that Adam Byatt joined? Have you joined already? Oh, here we go, view and go live with Adam. Adam, you are on the ball. Adam, you are on the ball already. Hi.
Hi, Bob.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Let me just get the volume up a little bit. I'm good, thanks.
Good to see you.
Likewise, yeah, nice to see you too.
You look like you've managed to get to the hairdressers.
No, I haven't. No, I just pushed it all back. This is 4 months of pure growth. This is
it
getting a bit unwieldy. Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether you had any champagne, but I'm going to say cheers anyway.
I have indeed. I have the champagne. Thank you so much.
Well,
it's delicious. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, cheers to Frey Jean Frey. Oh, I'll go down here a bit, actually.
It's very good. Very nice indeed. Very well.
If we're going to have a chat, then we might as well have a chat and have a drink at the same time.
Absolutely.
So tell me, right, Adam, for everyone out there, Trinity is shut at the moment still. When are you likely to be opening Trinity, and what are the plans with that venue at the moment?
It's the $1 million question, Bob. At the moment, it's a very tricky one. You know, every bone in my body wants to be, throw the doors open and open now. I really do. I've never wanted to open the restaurant as much as I do right now. I was in there with the team earlier doing some bits and pieces, and I just want to kind of get on with it. But the reality is that actually I just want to sort of see how it plays out a little bit longer. I want to see how the customer confidence is for a wee while longer. It could be, for us, I think it will be the early August. And I think it will be Trinity, Bistro Union and upstairs at the same time. Yeah. My work with Brown's Hotel and Charlie's restaurant there, that will open on the 1st of September. So that's a set date. So it'd be quite nice for us to get open in August so we can get some time sorted out for Trinity first of all. But that's the plan at the moment. The other thing we've done, we put in an application to take over, to do an outside space outside Trinity. It has a really vast, beautiful outside space.
Yeah, I'm just reading.
So hopefully we get that. If we get that outside space, that will kickstart the opening a little bit quicker for us.
And you have a lovely, being in the location you are, you will have, I would imagine, quite a lot of regulars because you've got you've got a good community around you there. So you're almost in the weirdest way a village restaurant. I mean, it sounds, but within that area that you are, you've got a lot of houses around you, as opposed to Browns, which is in the middle of the city.
Yeah, it's a lot of chimney pots where we live. It's very much a neighborhood restaurant. It's a neighborhood restaurant before it's a destination restaurant, put it that way. And it's 14 years old, Trinity. It's very much part of that nucleus, part of that community in Clapham, and it's loved by so many people for so many reasons. People have celebrated, they've met there, they've had their christenings with their children there, they've got married. It's got a lot of long-lasting memories for a lot of people. So, what's been amazing out of all of this is the support from the local community and the customer base. We went back in on the 4th to have a look check the emails. We had some 900 emails with inquiries for bookings and stuff. It was like just insane.
That wanted to come back on the 4th?
I guess they just didn't know what we were doing and whether we were opening, so just wanted to get an inquiry sort of logged early. So I put something out on my Instagram just to sort of say that we love that support. We're really, really grateful and humbled by it, but we're not quite ready. The time is not quite right for us, and it has to be right, Bob. It's critical that the timing is right. We got to get it right. We're only going to do it once. We're only going to open once. We want to open as close to that restaurant that we closed on the 20th of March as we can, and open properly and with as minimal disruption to the overall experience, the guest experience as we can. Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is, I zoom in with all of the Restaurant Association crew, which is about representing probably 200 or 300 restaurants, you know, around the country, but mainly London. And obviously David Lowe is a dear friend, and I speak to him a lot about his group, and he's opened some, and I get all the emails of who's opening and who isn't. But the feeling is that it's been a great start already. There is caution, of course, but you know, it's very encouraging. Look, also yesterday, finally, it seems that hospitality is recognized as not only a big sector within the community, but a very important sector within the community. And I don't think we've ever seen, well, you won't have seen, and I won't have seen, a government supporting hospitality in the way it's happened so much. And I think they recognize that, one, it's the third biggest employer, by the way, in the country now. But two, it's become a way of life for us. You know, there were many years ago when the wording of when hospitality, if you term that phrase, eating out, whatever we want to call it, became a leisure activity. Because for so many years, you know, going out was a celebration. Now we eat out as a matter of course, and we either come to a Michelin Star restaurant or we go to our local, you know, curry house or down the pub or wherever it is. But we eat out. We love eating out.
It is part of the fabric of our living now, and
it's been part, and
it's so important.
Community, as you say, a community establishment as good as yours, and to have that Clapham route. I mean, Clapham's got some great restaurants, you know. But it was really encouraging that the government supported hospitality, and also really encouraging with the way these restaurants have gone off. I spoke to Claude Bosi yesterday, and he's opening downstairs, and he's away, and it was really good, and had a good, you know. And I mean, we all are passionate people, you know, in this industry. And to be wrapped up and have our hands tied and not be able to speak.
So difficult,
difficult. But so very good at improvising, adapting, and overcoming. And one of my questions to you is, you know, through this period, and I've followed a bit of Instagram and I've seen what you've been up to. What have you been doing? You know, what have you been up to through this last 3 or 4 months?
I think, well, just to answer come back on your previous point there, amazing that, Bob, the chancellors, they listened so much to the great work that UK Hospitality have done as well. It's really, really encouraging.
Taylor's done
an amazing job. And it's great that hospitality has been recognised in this way, and that there is that support out there. But that support isn't going to, you know, you see a lot of conflicting people are upset about some bits and pieces. There's no one-stop solution for everybody. You know, there is going to be bits in it that helps everybody, and I think there's bits in it that really helped me yesterday, and bits that help other people. But there's no straight answer. But it's great to see that there is that support and that level of listening going on. So yeah, it's great. Well, lockdown for me has almost been, I sort of thought about it. It's sort of been like in 3 parts really. The beginning was a sort of a 3-week terrifying experience of closing my restaurant after 14 years for no apparent reason. Normally if I've done something stupid or bad in the business, I've made a huge error. You know, but this time it wasn't on my shoulders, nothing to do with me. So it was a bit weird. So there was a few weeks where it was very difficult mentally to deal with, and that shock, and dealing with all the finance and the people and the business and the debt, and trying to work out how we're going to kind of get through this thing. And then once I sort of settled into it, realised it was going to be okay. There were some good support packages in there. I just sort of settled into it and thought, you know what? I've not had 32 years. I've been doing this, and I've not had time with my family or my, you know, for myself actually to look after myself. Weirdly enough, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to just try and embrace it. Truth of the matter is, we then went down to, we have a little place down in Sussex, and we went down and lived in the woods for 7 weeks in the completely isolated from everyone for about 7 weeks, with some just in the middle of the woods somewhere. And that was, you know what, with my family and my little puppy and my dog, you know, we just had the most magical time. We really did, like memories that we will cherish forever, I think. And then this end of it, this last few weeks has been quite tough actually. That trying to work out how we get back to normal again. How does it all become right again? How do we reopen? What are the right procedures to take? This end's been tough, actually. This end's been equally as tough as the beginning part, if not a bit more hard, a bit more confusing. One of the key things I think right now is that there's because we're only being suggested of what to do in restaurants in terms of our precautionary measures. There is so much variation on. Some people have gone to town and it's screens and full face masks and gloves and the whole thing. And some people, there's virtually nothing. So it's quite difficult to know where to sit in it all, which is partly why we want to wait out and see what's comfortable for us. So.
Well, there are guidelines, as we know. It's assessment guidelines. I think it's 48 pages. I think the document.
Yeah, I've read it.
Did you say you have or you haven't?
I have read it. Yeah, I have read it.
Well done. And right, you know what is. But I love the way that you said yes. It's been 3 sections. I think I don't own a restaurant anymore. You know, I did, and am I glad I don't have one at the moment? Well, probably, but
yeah,
probably glad I don't have one at the moment. But a bit like you, I think this has been. I don't have the pressure of that. I don't have the pressure of a whole team. I don't have keeping them motivated, keeping them going. But I have also enjoyed this time with my wife, with my home. I have a lovely garden. You know, I've been doing my own cooking. I'm a chef for trade. I'm not a Michelin Star chef, Adam, but you know, I loved food, and I worked when I started my first restaurant when I was 24 years old. And what I have absolutely loved more than anything else is finding my love for cooking food again. Because I cooked for 20 years. I used to say I cook for money. I mean, I cooked to pay bills.
Yeah. And cooking for money and cooking for the enjoyment factor are sadly, they are slightly different things. And I found the same, actually. I've cooked every single day for lunch and dinner for my family. And, you know, we don't eat, you know, Michelin star food, but we certainly eat. What's apparent is that it's not that difficult to make really delicious food if you buy seasonal, beautiful ingredients, great olive oil, great salt, and you kind of know what you're doing. It's actually not that difficult. And I've really enjoyed the cookery at home, because normally cookery at home for me is kind of get it done, get it out of the way, get everybody fed. I don't cook that much at home. I probably cook once a week at home normally. But actually cooking every single day and running it properly, I've really enjoyed it. I've loved it. Yeah.
Dave, what you just said then is exactly what I've been doing. Is running it properly. Is actually, I mean, I'm cooking a dish a day and I'm filming. I've done 82 videos now, which is just, but more than that, because I'm doing it properly at home, I'm thinking about what I'm doing. I'm doing my mise en place, but I'm buying the best red onions.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my mushrooms or my radishes. You know, I go to the farm shop and I search through the vegetables as if I was down at the market years and years and years ago, you know. And I have really enjoyed it. And I have found my love for cooking again, which has been something, as you say, you just cook, and away you go, you know. And, but I've been watching some of your, and I presume did I see something when you were, you like doing a bit of foraging, as far as I can see. Was that? Did I see?
Yeah. We similar to you. I've been cooking like that at home, and I kind of do like the mise en place in the morning with my daughter, and then sort of put it away, and then come back and finish the dinner. And it's just really nice to take that much time over cookery as well, because normally my cookery at work it's fairly pressured and rushed, and you know, not that isn't the love there, but it's a process. You've got to get from point A to point B in a fairly quick point of time. Yeah. And it's a different thing, you know. And cooking at home, having all the time in the world essentially to do that is really lovely. And yeah, the foraging thing is.
Did I see you? Sorry.
The foraging thing. We like I said, we stayed out in the country, in the woods for 7 weeks or 8 weeks, and just when we arrived, just when the wild garlic season started. So we picked loads of wild garlic and made beautiful things with wild garlic. And then the elderflower arrived. We made elderflower champagne, elderflower fritters, all sorts of elderflower vinegars and things. And then just as we were sort of coming back to London, the chicken of the woods season started, and so I picked a really large one and brought it back to London, and I cooked it in London. So yeah, it was
on an oak tree, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah,
and the colour. If anyone hasn't seen it, go to Adam's.
Yeah, really lovely.
The colour of this mushroom, for a better phrase, and then you sort of brought it home, and you did. I was sort of going through. You did like almost like a bolognese or something or other.
Yeah.
Or something. You did something with it, but you also deep fried them as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we deep fried them like KFC type chicken. Yeah, it was like a deep fried chicken thing. We made some powder with it as well, and just did loads of bits with it really. And I'm still eating it. I made a bolognese the other day and put loads of the powder into it as well. So I like all that. I like that kind of stuff, and doing it with my children is great.
You just need to know about it. I mean, don't wander down there picking things off trees and start cooking them. You need to know what you're doing. But
you do, but I think with a video, it's easier to identify and kind of go, yeah, that's exactly that thing. You know, it's easier to do, but yeah.
So one of the things that I'm really pleased and proud that we've relaunched again this year, which is in the 41st year of Young Chef Young Waiter, which is one of the things I want to obviously talk to you about. We've had the time to really develop that this year, and last year we redesigned it, and this year because of the way we redesigned it last year, it's online all the application process, and online all of the first round of judging, or all the judging actually until the end. So it became a perfect competition, if you like, for this perfect time to keep our young, future talent of 26 and under motivated. And I'm really, really pleased with the response so far. We've got some amazing brands on board. Fork have just come on. You know, the Fork, which is now, which was Booker Table.
Yeah.
So they're an official partner. We have got Mercedes, who are giving a Mercedes car each. If you're a young chef out there, a young waiter out there, you win a Mercedes car for a year, by the way.
Wow.
So, there's some great prizes. So if you've got young talent, Adam, and you're 26 and under, enter Young Chef, Young Waiter. It all goes through. The final will be not until November, where we will have it live at that point. But that's how we redesigned it. So it's beautiful for this year. And then next year, we're so pleased that this year, unfortunately, we were due to. The Department of International Trade and Expo had sort of bought and was going to showcase the Young Chef, Young Waiter final at Expo, which would have been amazing, but obviously that's not happening. So we're now agreed to do it for next year. We're just waiting for our final bits and pieces to come through. So Young Chef, Young Waiter 2021 will be at Expo, but 2020 is underway, and we'll be hosting the finals at, I'll let you know a bit more about it actually, because I'd love you to come along, at the Langham Hotel in the Rue Cookery School.
Oh, lovely.
So it'll be really, really cool. So everything about it is going very, very well. And what I'm even more pleased about this year is that I had a live with Cyrus last week, and Cyrus is going to help with what we've called within the community of the UK. We've now got Young Chef, Young Waiter China, and Ching, who was, Ching, who was on Saturday Kitchen the other day with Matt, mentioned Young Chef, Young Waiter competition, and she's looking after China within the UK, the Chinese community. And I've got Ina Mali, who's looking after the South Asian one, which is the Indian and Pakistani, and Nepalese and Sri Lanka and Pakistan. There we are. And so we've got 3 communities of young chefs all in the same country. So that ticks quite a few boxes of our industry, which I'm really, really pleased about. So we've enhanced it. But again, the key to it, Adam, was to motivate all of these young superstars, if you like, of tomorrow. And that leads me on to the next question is, how did you how have you managed to motivate your team? Because you'd have quite a big team at Trinity now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, interesting. That's great, that the young chef thing. That's so diverse now as well. It's a brilliant. I did that competition when I was a young chef, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. In fact, I came second to Mark Sargent, and he never ever lets me get away with it. He still reminds me of that today. So,
well, Mark Sargent was the winner, of course, as you know. Marcus Waring was a winner.
Yeah.
And I had Adam Hanley on the other day, and I had
Yeah.
no idea that I've been chairman of this competition for a long time. And Adam said, "Yeah, well, I was in the competition." And I think he came, I don't know, third or something. I don't know where he came, but anyway, he
Great
said
competition.
2011.
A great competition, and I think, you know what, for the thing that I got out of it, I'd worked at Claridge's, and I just started at the Square, actually, and all of a sudden you're faced with all these different people, your peers that you've never met before, and you can sort of see where you're at in the industry. It was really helpful for me. I found it really useful to understand and benchmark myself and see where I was at and how things were working for me. I really enjoyed it. It was a great competition, and I've gone on to judge it a few times in previous years. But yeah, great competition. And in regards to my team, well, we are around 50 people actually between Trinity upstairs and Bistro Union that are directly employed by me. But the people at Brown's are obviously employed by Brown's Hotel. But the team, my direct team like that, I really struggled in the beginning to think how we're gonna keep these guys on board. I mean, how are we gonna keep them motivated and excited? So we've done a few things. We set up a private Instagram account for them that's only for them. And they post loads of stuff, loads of cooking recipes, loads of bits and pieces, loads of sort of interesting things going on, some fun stuff. I've used that as a mechanism to do video communication calls with them. So sort of putting up 5-minute videos every now and then to bore them to tears about where we are. So they found that that was helpful. In fact, tomorrow we have a live cheese tasting with Buchanan's, our cheese supplier. So we went and got some cheese this morning and have got that distributed to the whole team. And Buchanan's are doing a cheese tasting for the whole team tomorrow at 5 o'clock live on a Zoom thing. The week after, we're doing a wine tasting. So we bought a bottle of wine for everybody, and they come and collect it from the restaurant and take it home, do a wine tasting. You know, these things aren't going to kind of ready them for the restaurant. They're not going to ready them back to work, but they're certainly going to just keep them remembering what we're about and what our values are, what matters to us. And I've written a few things for them, but ultimately there's not a lot more you can do other than that. And we've put phone calls into perhaps some of them we felt needed a bit of guidance and reassurance, and made sure they're okay. And that's really all we can do. But I'm fairly confident. We put a nice call out to everybody, just sort of saying, look, we think we're about a month away. Where's everybody at? How are you feeling? Anybody got any concerns or whatever? And we had a pretty much 100% unanimous, want to get on with it, let's go, thanks chef, and all that stuff. So all the right messages.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Look, there are for me, by the way, doing these little chats and interviews are a brilliant way to listen to the way you've all gone about it. You know, I've talked to Jason Atherton, I've had Claire Smith, and you've all gone, but pretty much similar routes. You know, keeping everyone engaged, keeping them all motivated, saying, look, you know, this is unprecedented. You know, but and a lot of them.
Hello, Maureen.
Pardon?
Hello, I'm just saying hello to Maureen. She's there, I can see.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And a lot of them are about how, you know, making sure the team is still here, because a lot of employees in London, of course, will come from the European communities or elsewhere, and making sure that they haven't gone back home so they can all come back again. You know, there's that sort of scenario. But it's been really interesting for me. It's a great way of, I'm not coming to London at the moment, of course, because, you know, we've only just started. So I've been getting this incredible sort of fix of meeting all my mates and chefs and sort of saying hello to everybody. But also it's been actually fantastic for me, because if I was in Trinity or wherever we would be, it would be hi Bob or hi Adam and all that, and be running around.
2 minutes chat. Yeah.
You don't get 35 or 40 minutes or so to have a chat. And on that just goes into my next little bit. Here we go. We did some team. Oh, here we are. Who was that then? Who did somebody said, to get spirits high and entertain our followers. Somebody did some dancing.
Very good.
That's good. Whoever you are did dancing. Well, that's good.
My team would not want me dancing. There's no doubt about that. No.
And you mentioned Philip Howard, who is a legend, and who was, by the way, one of the head judges of Young Chef, Young Waiter on the chefing. And then, and I know you went from Claridge's to there. I think you went from Claridge's to the Square, didn't you? Did you?
In a roundabout way, yeah. Yeah.
A bit about what? Sorry, I've interrupted you there. But what I was going to say, because it will lead it. So, where did you get? What inspired you? Why did you come into this industry, and why did you become a chef?
Wow, it's. I think school wasn't particularly engaging for me. I wasn't particularly academic. The schooling wasn't a great experience for me, and I wanted to work really. And cooking had been in my family a little bit. And when it came to sort of choosing a career path, I went out to an apprenticeship day locally. This is 30 years ago, Bob, so it's a long time ago. But went to a careers open day sort of thing, and there was an apprenticeship with the Savoy Education Trust that had. At the time, had Connaught, Savoy, Claridge's, Berkeley, all that. And there was an apprenticeship scheme at Claridge's Hotel, which I applied for with Mario Lesnick at the time, and John Williams was there then. And I got accepted at Claridge's as an apprentice. And then after a month or so, I was asked if I would like to join the Royal Academy Specialised Chef course at Claridge's. So, which to be honest was the turning point for me in my life, because I then kind of went back into academia, and it worked, it connected, and I was engaged, and it all fell into place for me. So I spent the next 4.5, 5 years at Claridge's and did my time there and loved it. And
who was your chef there? Was that John then?
Who? Say again.
John then? Who was
John Williams was the premier sous chef, and Mario Lesnick was the executive chef. But then John went over to the Berkeley Hotel, took me with him, and then he came back as the exec chef to Claridge's. But at that point, I then moved on and went to. I did a load of stuff in London, but I ended up at the Square basically. Yeah.
It's I had John on, and John did one of my lives. In fact, I see John now and again, and we're trying to get a bit of golf together now and again. But the Ritz is opening, I believe, mid-July. Kristen is saying, great story. I think people like to know. I mean, I don't know. I'm asking you these questions. The last thing I'd be saying, oh, by the way, now where did you start? In the middle of service. I'm not going to be asking you that question.
Yeah. It's a long time ago, Bob. It feels like ages ago, and I think the route into the industry now is different. You wouldn't necessarily find the same paths in, but it was a great thing for me. It was life changing for me, and that moment I started at the Square was also quite a milestone, quite a sort of big life changing thing.
When were you at the Square then? I mean, you were being in the absolute heyday of
1995. Yeah.
I mean, Philip is. I mean, what is it? And such a nice person.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way that the change of that chefing world of, and I mean, I've not had Marco on. Would be nice to have Marco on, but from the days of chefs sort of throwing the pots and pans out the windows to this calm man of and just everything. But I remember going into Simon when talking of Claridge's actually, when Ferrer opened at Claridge's. And I have never seen. Did you go to Ferrer when it opened?
I did, yeah, in the beginning, yeah.
And I saw Simon, the kitchen that they put in, although they've now ripped it out. There's something else.
Amazing kitchen, yeah.
The kitchen was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And this was now, and there will be other kitchens. I mean, I've seen John's kitchen down back in the. It's like it's the Formula One of kitchens, isn't it? It was absolute. I mean, with plants growing here and something here. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Probably one of the nicest kitchens I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I mean, and then I'm not quite sure. So now for you, so going forward, subject to this period that we've had, you have your Browns
Yeah.
now. And that is a period of time. I mean, who was there prior to you?
So at Browns, I'm the food and beverage director for Browns, and Charlie's is the restaurant that I sort of spearhead for them.
Right.
But I have an input and a say-so in the food and beverage across the food and beverage offering for Browns.
Right. Okay.
And that started out because I was doing some cooking dinners at Verdura Resort in Sicily for the Roccaforte family with the wonderful Tom Kitchen, and and just sort of got to know the family a little bit and did bits and pieces for them. And I think once the tenure ended with Mark Hicks, there was somebody else in the interim period. Heinz Beck came in, I think, for a while, which perhaps wasn't right for them, and then they wanted a new chapter. So they approached me, and we got together. It was the first time I've ever done a kind of a role that wasn't my own restaurant in such a serious way, in such a prestigious establishment. So it was a huge thing, a huge undertaking. Took it very seriously. Started there last July, and actually we'd done some brilliant things, and we've really started to get great momentum. Working with Stuart, the managing director, and John and Lydia, and really starting to get some pace and some traction there. And all of a sudden, COVID just sort of kibosh everything, which is a shame, because it is what it is. But we're talking lots about scribbling new menus down for September and getting going again, and can't wait to get going again with them. They're an amazing team, and I love it. Well, but, and it is different to have that on the side of my own restaurants, but it's been really good for me. My growth, my personal development has been instrumental. Browns has been instrumental in that, because it's taught me skills that I needed, and made me let go of the reins a little bit in my establishments, which is really important, because I love my restaurants, and they're part of my DNA, but actually they can't grow, and the people can't grow if I suffocate them, so it's been really good for me.
Absolutely. Well, Nick, who's just, it's great to have you at Browns, Adam. So Nick, we've got Nick, Steve. I've got Nick, Steve, right. I haven't got my.
Nick is Nick's the marketing director for Browns. Yeah, sales marketing director for Browns.
It's not Nick, Steve. It's Nick Steve. Anyway, I haven't got my glasses on, Nick, so I'm sorry. I've just suddenly taken them off otherwise. I have these glasses. I either can't see you or I can't read.
No, it's all right. No. So in terms of what's next, really, so I have my relationship with Browns, which is brilliant. I have Trinity 14 years, Bistro Unions 7 or 8 years, and I have upstairs and upstairs above Trinity, and I have a partnership with Bartlett Mitchell, which is really important to me as well. Bartlett Mitchell is an amazing catering company. I've been with them for 4.5 years now, or something like that. I work with Pete and the team there. They're an amazing company, and the way they think about food, the way they apply food to such a vast scale business, And I do these things because actually the amount that I learn from working for Browns and the amount I learn from working for a company like Bartlett Mitchell is incredible. It's really helped me grow, and sort of having that. Yeah, they're brilliant people. And and you know what, Bob, is that's enough for me to cope with right now. It's enough for me because I can still get my hands around everything. I can still know everybody's name. I can still know exactly what's on every single menu at all the time. I can still engage with everybody. It's the outer limit of what I can cope with and still have some form of work-life balance. And it works. You know what? It works. So that for me was, I reached that point just before we closed, where that was my sort of spectrum of things, and I thought, you know what, that is enough right now. That's
somebody just read this. So I was really excited to meet you, Adam, but unfortunately your visit to my workplace was cancelled at the last minute. So Christina and Nick, thank you. I've got my glasses on now. I can now read. It was close enough, he said. So,
I did go to that workplace to do a lunch for Bartlett Mitchell, actually, and it was like on the 19th or something of March. I can't remember, but it was right at the last moment, and we got evacuated from the building. It was literally we had to leave the building. It was quite, and then of course the next day it disappears into oblivion because I had to close my restaurant, which is what it was.
And so, you know, you think about Bartlett Mitchell, Browns, and then your own, you know.
There's a question. There was a question there for someone about Fish and Pips, which is a very good friend of mine. Holly owns a company called Fish and Pips, which do these amazing ski chalet stuff, which I really loved helping out in the beginning. But now my head chef Chris and his fiance Beck do that. They do the catering and training for that company now instead. So but it's great, and they're an amazing company, Fish and Pips. They're also doing other holiday tour operating stuff as well now. So brilliant food companies. You know, and what links all of this actually is that I can only really work with people that are super passionate about food and put food front and center with everything. That's the bit that really matters. And everyone that I work with, food is at the very forefront. So
yeah, it's a great name, Fish and Pips. I like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, good name.
And when you think about what you do with Browns and then Trinity is your sort of mission, you know, the real fine dining part, but I suppose Browns is quite fine dining, and then to put all of that experience into I'm not going to say mass catering, but you know, big event catering, if you like, with the Bartlett Mitchell route. So you've really got sort of three elements, haven't you? But all ultimately coming from.
And also my restaurants, Bob, are, you know, they're all in Clapham. They're all very close to each other. Trinity is a Michelin Star restaurant. It's the special occasion restaurant in my flagship in my group. Bistro Union is the sort of really great bistro, family bistro. It hits that middle market brilliantly, but it's super accurate and lovely. And then upstairs is a sort of casual dining. So we definitely have three different markets in Clapham that we capture with the three different restaurants, which is really great. It's really fun to do it like that, actually. I'd rather that than have three exactly the same restaurants doing it all over and over. You know?
The question there: what's the benefit in truffles? What's the benefits in truffles? Now, I'm not quite sure whether that's of truffles or in truffles, or unless there's a restaurant called Truffles. I don't know. Anyway,
flavor, and sort of truffle just brings an amazing amount of umami and aroma and enhances a dish if that's the direction you want to take it. But I love truffles.
That's been brilliant. Look, it's fantastic speaking to you.
My pleasure, Bob.
I was going to say, I just lost my thread now, but it doesn't really matter. It's been brilliant speaking to you. Oh, I know what I was going to say to you. So Michelin, we're involved very much with Michelin, of course. You know, we are partners with Michelin and looking after the Michelin Revelation, and I'm very honoured and proud, and somebody who is started cooking at 16 and suddenly at 64 I'm cooking again, but in that whole circle of life I've ended up, I always wanted to be a Michelin Star chef. I went to sign the contract with Michelin, and I always wanted, you know, it's my dream, but I didn't reach those dizzy heights. And so one Michelin Star for me would have been just amazing. Listen, a Michelin plate for me would have been amazing. And now I said to them, I have 154 Michelin stars.
Yeah, amazing.
I got my fix in the end. And, but obviously I think, you know, I can't go into the whole story of what's going on there, but probably going to be pushed back a little bit before, you know, the whole of the way the Michelin because obviously the whole world is the same in every Michelin location. So
it's so nice to see Michelin out there supporting restaurants. They posted a great post that they were at Hyde the other day, just saying they were there to support rather than to inspect, which is really just great. That just shows the sort of level of integrity of the Michelin Guide for me, I think.
Yeah, it's a brilliant. I'm super proud and honoured to be part of it, as we all would be, you know.
Absolutely.
To just be involved with it and have it with me, I can't tell you how chuffed.
Absolutely, one of the highlights of my career, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. And walking up, and I don't know, when did you get your Michelin star?
4 years ago, I think.
4 years. Well, so you would have been at one of the first Michelin Revelations then?
The very first one.
The Savoy somewhere maybe. And
that's right, at the Savoy, the very first one. They kept us all upstairs and then sort of brought us down onto stage. It was It was a day never ever to forget. It was wonderful. And you know what? But really also for my team, we'd worked incredibly hard with that goal in mind, and we wanted that. We felt the restaurant deserved that level of accolade, and you know, we didn't cook for it. We cooked for our guests. We made sure that we cooked for our guests and made sure the restaurant was full first and foremost. But actually we knew that the ingredients we were cooking with and the level that we were cooking at deserved recognition, and it rightly got that recognition. And but it's down to the team, Bob. That's not, you know, that I can come up with the magic and I can come up with all the sort of all the ideas and all the magic, but actually that is absolutely about the team. You can't do that on your own, and you've got to get a team aligned and thinking in the same way, and all believing in the same dream and the same journey. And I have the most incredible team at Trinity. I'm super proud of that. So I love them all. Yeah.
Well, look, it's been brilliant talking to you. I've had the most wonderful group of chefs that have come on board. I've got some amazing chefs to come on July the 20th. I have Thomas Keller.
Wow.
And he's a great friend of mine. I am so pleased that he's agreed to come on, and I've also got some others, and we've just got a list of some more that are coming on. So it's
amazing.
But for me to have Thomas on will be super fun. So I think it's going to be I think it's 6 o'clock on July the 20th. So hopefully
I'll tune in. I'll make sure I tune in. Brilliant.
Adam,
thank you, Bob.
Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the champagne, and it's very great to talk to you. Thanks for having me on.
Let me know when Trinity opens.
I will.
I will. Bye-bye.